So welcome so much, everybody that's joining today. Shira, all the way from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you for joining RPA Nuggets in this quarantine podcast series. And today we will be covering virtual reality. So, just a bit of background about myself. My name is Tulang Matopa, and I am the founder of RPA Nuggets. And we are an training and consulting robotic process automation um, service provider based in South Africa. And more than anything, we share our knowledge with our audience. And throughout this time, we thought this would be a fruitful way to share the knowledge that we possess here at RPA Nuggets, which does not only revolve around robotic process automation. So just a bit of background about myself. I graduated from Heriot-Watt University, which is based in the UK in Scotland, and I graduated with a BSc Computer Systems degree. And I've got 7 years of corporate experience in consulting mainly, and basically doing business intelligence, analytics, as well as robotic process automation. So I've got experience in those three areas predominantly. So let's start recording let's start going through the podcast content today that we will be covering. So we'll go through a bit of an introduction. We'll also try to see what is virtual reality. We'll see the applications of virtual reality, some examples, and then we will have a Q&A session. Okay. So just a bit of an introduction of where we are coming from generation to generation, to this digital world, this digital reality that we see and live in now today in 2020. So back in the day, the evolution started with personal computers, which were not much laptops, but rather your desktop type computers, the big ones that originated with the likes of your IBMs. And then came the internet revolution, right? Then came the smartphone buzz. And then now we see ourselves in a digital reality where everything and everyone are connected. And this is where virtual reality fits in. And that's what we are going to try and see today. So the potential of this digital reality, which consists of virtual reality, augmented reality, is to basically reimagine reality and allow access to objects, to places, and to people that are out of reach in the real world. So what is virtual reality? Virtual reality is a multi-sensory immersive environment consisting of hardware and software components which provide a virtual world experience via head-mounted display. Operationally, VR software or virtual reality hardware, rather, consists of sensors in the headset that track the user's movements and change the user's view accordingly. This gives the users the impression of being physically present in a virtual or simulated environment. VR, which is short for virtual reality, is not really new. It's been around for several years and has been mostly developed for its core market, namely dedicated computer gamers who seek a rich, interactive gaming environment. The development of virtual reality technology has spurred a global race to identify and capture the next major market opportunities. Hardware device manufacturers, as well as software developers, are collaborating with architects, designers, healthcare practitioners, and other sector experts to develop the next generation of interactive products and services. Even in the gaming industry, the main consumer of VR products, closer collaboration with automobile manufacturers and sporting associations, for instance, is producing more interactive and realistic games enhanced through this virtual reality technology. Please feel free to stop me at any time during this session and I will answer your questions accordingly. Now let us look at some few applications of virtual reality. The first one that we see is in the education sector. Virtual reality has been adapted in education for teaching and learning situations. Students are able to interact with each other and within a three-dimensional environment. Students can also be taken on virtual field trips, for example, to museums, taking tours of the solar system, and going back in time to different areas or different eras. Students with special needs, such as autism, are also using virtual reality technology. Research has found that virtual reality can be a motivating platform to safely practice social skills for children. A company called Florio has developed virtual reality scenarios that allow children to learn and practice skills such as pointing, making eye contact, and building social connections. Parents can also follow along and interact by using a linked tablet that is linked to the virtual reality headset. So while it's still in its early stages, and although it's been around for quite some time, it will be an interesting phenomenon to see how it evolves in the years to come as the technology is becoming cheaper and more widespread. The next application that we see is in the healthcare system or the healthcare sector. Medical and dental students use virtual reality to practice surgeries and procedures, allowing for a consequence-free learning environment. Virtual patients are used to allow students to develop skills which can later be applied in the real world. The healthcare industry employs virtual reality throughout its various sectors in order to offer a higher quality of care and efficiency to patients and medical professionals alike. VR or virtual reality is being used in everything from surgical preparation to patient illness education and therapy. And then the last application of virtual reality that we see is in the business sector. Virtual reality is being used in a number of ways by the business community, and this includes virtual tours of a business environment. And we've seen this on Google, for instance, when you Google a company name and you say, I want to look what the office space looks like, right? Let's say, for instance, you want to work for a particular organization that you are interested in, or they've called you to come and work with them, and there's certain things such as the environment and the feel of the office space that matter to most people, and you want to see how that looks like if you can't go to their office physically, then you can take a virtual tour of their office space on their website on Google. So we've seen that. The next application in the business sector would include training of new employees, as well as a 360 view of a particular business product. So many businesses have embraced virtual reality as a cost-effective way of developing a product or a service. For example, it enables them to test a prototype without having to develop several versions of the same prototype, which can be time-consuming and extremely expensive. Plus, it is a good way of detecting design problems at an early stage, which can then be dealt with sooner rather than later. So, a few business benefits of using virtual reality is that for some businesses, fully immersive virtual reality systems are a way forward. They like the fact that they can use this to test drive a product in the early stages of development, but without any additional costs or risks to themselves. This is particularly useful for companies who produce dangerous or potentially harmful products which need to be evaluated before use. They can test their product within a virtual environment, but at no risk to themselves or their employees. And virtual reality technology has advanced to the stage where it has a high degree of realism and efficiency. Some companies use VR to help with data analysis and forecasting trends in order to gain an edge over their competitors. One example of this is a system developed by researchers at the University of Warwick, which is designed to help businesses gain a greater understanding of their data. So now we'll look at a few examples. But before I can proceed, do you have any questions? Okay, so no questions so far. So the first example that we see is the Sony PlayStation Virtual Reality, or PSVR for short. And it's basically known by the code name Project Morpheus during their development stage at Sony. And it is a virtual reality headset that is developed by Sony Computer Entertainment and was released in October 2016. It was designed to be fully functional with the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 home video game consoles. In certain games and demos for the virtual reality or the VR, the player wearing the headset acts separately from other players without the headset. The PlayStation VR system can output a picture to both the PlayStation VR headset and a television simultaneously, with the TV either mirroring the picture displayed on the headset or displaying a separate image for competitive or cooperative gameplay. Then the next example that we see, which is recently developed by Tesla, is the Tesla Suit Glove. It lets the user feel physical objects virtually, something that it was only possible in science fiction movies such as, I don't know if you know this movie, the Steven Spielberg's 2018 movie Ready Player One, just to give you an idea. And then our last example is the Facebook Oculus, which comes, I think, in variations. We've got the Oculus Rift, the Oculus Rift S, Oculus Go, as well as the Oculus Quest. So originally, it was funded by a Kickstarter project in 2012 and then engineered with the help of a guy called John Carmack, which is a founder of an ID software. So Oculus became the early leader in virtual reality hardware for video games. So Facebook brought Oculus in 2014 and brought the company's high-end virtual reality HMD to market for consumers. So more recently, Oculus has seen success with lower powered Oculus Go, and 2019 will see the release of, or has seen the release of multiple new iterations of the software, including the tethered Rift S and a standalone Oculus Quest. Right, so now we will have a small Q&A session. If you have any questions, Shari.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for your information. It was
Yes.
very, very nice. I will just have to leave this meeting because I have an emergency, but it was very nice to hear you, okay?
Thank you so much, Shira. Thank you for joining.
Have a good day.
All right, you too. Thank you.